into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, Grimsters and Gremlins! Welcome back. It's Grimm here at AfterBuzz TV. Yay! It's the after show. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. We're talking about Grimm, episode 406, Highway of Tears.
No, let's not do that.
Okay, never again. I was gonna call you guys my fantastic panel, but now they're my shaming panel.
Yes, we are.
Yael, Tygiel, and Dillon.
Hey, everybody.
I'm excited to dive into this episode. This has just been another in a long string of great episodes this season. We'll open with our quote.
Yeah.
There is no mercy in you. You cut off the heads of men and women and those you wear as garlands around your neck.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But this was a very packed episode. We left off last week with like the wolf songol being like stamped on the front lawn.
Yeah, the burning.
So effectively
sign.
a burning cross.
Yes, right.
It's like this little like it looks like somebody took a swastika and matched it up with a cross, basically.
Kind of. It's like a swastika that was bent out of shape.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this one came out wrong.
A swastika that's bent out of shape.
I mean, it's not an accident. Like it's
Right.
meant to convey that message without being a swastika.
Yeah.
We did get more about the wolf songol like backstory in this one. It was a really quick. I kept expecting it to be like a bigger plot line in this episode, but I think they're just stringing along. That'll probably be like a mid-season break reveal.
I feel like it's similar to the like Grim Reaper sickles. What are they called? Thingies with thingers. You know what I'm talking about?
The
Scythe.
The scythe. Thank you.
I don't speak
Thank you,
English.
Stephen Lemieux in the booth.
Yeah. It was similar to that. That it was like, oh, we saw that image, and
Which
then
I would love to see come back.
yeah,
I gotta say, they propped it up in like the early seasons as this big thing, this like big organization that was going to be a problem for Nick, and then it sort of just went away once we got the Royals.
I feel like they're going to intertwine with this order to keep Vess in purity. Like I think they're going to work together.
All right, I can see that, and you know what? Maybe as we get more of these, like because we're seeing all these different organizations like coming into play, there has to be a Grimm one soon, right? In theory,
I don't know. I think they kind of just hide out. There's not as many Grimm as there are Vessin.
Yeah.
And they kind of
Maybe.
just hang out in the shadows like assassins.
but I would love if we got a Grimm society so secret that like even Kelly Burkhart has no idea that it still exists.
Yeah. Weren't they something like that in the beginning? They said they were like something. Didn't they have something to do with like some 7 Grimms and 7 families?
Probably.
Knights Templar and Illuminati and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, the Grimms have been part of bigger organizations throughout the millennia, but we haven't really been privy to like this is the Grimm group. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if there is a Grim Council or whatever,
Yes.
at this point I think they've disbanded or has died out because they would have come to Nick earlier and been like, you're not doing your Grim duty.
unless they're working such a long game that they're waiting for the right time.
Yeah,
Like maybe there's like a Super Saiyan level of Grimm that
Whoa.
Nick has to reach.
He went there.
that before they can be like, we welcome you into our ranks.
Only the most powerful Grimm.
I feel like we're predicting.
Okay. all
Only
right.
Super Saiyan level 2
Fair
Grimms
enough.
can come into our society.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the backstory that we get on the Wolf Sangel is the Secundum Naturae Order Nan Vessin.
Oh.
Yep.
I failed
Yep.
so bad. That thing, it was founded to keep Vessin pure.
and it's been outlawed by the council.
Yeah, it's sort of like frowned upon, but like people are still there are still members that are sympathetic to it.
Kind of like some organizations that exist in real life,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
like the
parallels.
KKK.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
yeah. Although I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone in any form, any state that would like still be sympathetic towards.
No, I'm not talking about states being sympathetic, but like morons that are in the group that are
Yes.
sympathetic
I
to
would
it.
say that there may be politicians in places, we say from California that are in other
enough.
places that may be sympathetic.
Fair enough. This is effectively the Vesson KKK.
Yes.
Very much so. And like you could see Hank visibly furious.
Yeah.
Like there's that one shot of him just like so mad as he kicks over the wolf song on the lawn.
Yeah.
It was great. But so that's sort of all we get of this. And
Yeah.
like obviously Monroe and Rosalie are both furious, and Monroe refuses to leave his home. He's like, I will not be run out. But there's nothing they can do at this point except put it on the back burner. They got a lot of other things to deal with.
I mean, Nick wants to help, and Monroe points out to him that it's no longer his problem.
Yeah.
He wants to help. He can't really help.
Yet.
He gonna die if he helps, unless he gets his Grimm back.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought you were
And-
saying unless he gets his Grimm on. Yeah.
He does.
Because he does.
And he does. It's just it's a like 80s like pop movie. How Nick got his Grimm back.
Yeah.
That was not okay.
Was it the 90s? I don't know.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. How Nick got his Grimm
Yeah.
back.
I mean, Stella's got her groove thing.
That
Nick's got his
wasn't like
Grimm
a
thing.
pop movie.
Whatever, yeah.
That's where my problem was, not the year. But I was like, that's not a pop movie.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nick got his Grimm back in this
Yes.
episode, finally. And I kind of figured it would take a little bit, like even after
Right.
Let's talk about the sex scene though,
Okay.
and like everything around it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yael's
just
favorite
cede
part.
the floor to you to
Yeah,
open
cheers.
us up.
Take
Wait,
it.
okay, so
Just thoughts.
thoughts, not what happened.
Well, I mean, she transforms.
She transforms,
into,
which is
into
super
Adeline.
awkward.
Yeah.
And then it seems like they had the craziest night. It's so interesting that Juliet Adeland comes into the room and it's like, this is your one opportunity. Adelette, yes, comes in and is like, this is your one opportunity to cheat
Without cheating.
And
Although he kind of already did
right,
that one time.
but like this is the one time she's okay with it,
Yeah.
and that is kind of romantic, I guess.
It's the most romantic way you could have approached the situation.
It was kind of like doing some kind of like, role play fantasy
yeah.
or
How come
something,
not a single person was like, role play, guys, role play?
I mean, they at least addressed the like, I'll turn out the lights.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to help.
Right.
Yeah. Until your
also-
eyes adjust.
right?
You're right.
Also, she's like a foot shorter.
Yeah.
So, like-
well, you could pretend all you want, but the body's still going to be, it's a different body.
It's
Right.
a different body. The proportions are different. Where things are is different a little. You know what I mean?
A little.
Like, distance between.
They could have
things.
blindfolded him.
They could have blindfolded him. I think they could have. I don't know why he wasn't drunk. Like, that would make everything easier.
I think, well, first of all, they wanted to do it as soon as they could, because
Right.
as they point out, like it could, who knows what happens if they take any more time, because they've
Right.
already had like the weird like brain
Yeah.
swap
Yeah.
moment, and like any moment something could go wrong.
I really hope that just to talk real quick about the brain swap moment, I hope that wasn't just a one-timey fluke.
That they still must be tied together in
Right.
some way, like that they took each other's powers, both gained each other's powers back.
Yeah.
They're so completely tied together in a psychic sense, in a physical sense, in a spiritual sense, that's definitely not going away.
Yeah.
It maybe not. It'll be interesting that he's a Grimm again, what that means.
Yeah.
And I think even Mama Renard was pretty clear, like, it's not done.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a step. There's still ramifications that they don't know. It's such a unique situation. This is not, like, as much as she used the book that Adeline had to, like, help her figure it out.
Right.
This is a purely once in a, like, ever.
Yeah, I mean, she listed all the. Remember, she was like, "But you gotta do this,"
and then
but then she had to do this.
Right.
Oh wow! But then she must have had to done this, and it's like, what? How did all of this come to play? This is perfect.
Yeah.
The perfect storm.
Yeah, and I mean, I just thought the whole situation, it was fun.
It was kind of. They made a weird situation like kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then they had fun with it,
And
which is like the only way you could do it.
They made it seem like afterwards, like it was the greatest sex they'd ever had or something.
Yeah, right?
And not to get all girly, but if I was Juliet, I would have been like, wait a second.
Well, I think it was because Juliet went in with this mind frame of I'm Adeline, so like I'm this like, you know, I feel like she went in with kind of like I'm gonna be nasty. You know what I mean?
We saw
like I think she was being something she's normally not, and she probably maybe they did some things that they don't normally do. we don't know because she's a different person. Maybe she's like, oh, Nick will never look at me like I'm the person that did those dirty things.
I see.
You know?
Yeah.
We saw Juliet's kinky side.
Yeah, that's what I think was happening.
Okay.
Juliet felt the Adeline, and she went into the kinky side.
Well, remember when Mama Renard transformed into Adeline? She came out in one of Monroe's shirts because she's like, as Adeline, she just felt a little bit sluttier.
Yeah, see?
I see.
So I think that happened to Juliet.
So that when you turn into
and
Adeline,
she even said that to him. She was like, because all I see is you, and I'm going to get me some. And you're
Yeah.
like, whoa. You've never heard Juliet say anything like that before. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The audience knows what's up.
right? Our live studio audience.
And I love the transformation was great. We got that one brief moment of blonde Juliet.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Where it was still at Bitsy Talk's face, but like had the blonde hair.
I did not like that at all.
It was creepy, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Before the full transformation. And like they go through the whole thing. I everyone's reaction as they know what's happening. Like, this isn't even funny.
Yeah.
Trouble is just like, I know what convoluted means.
That's so funny.
And then when Monroe and Rosalie retreat when they get back, they're both just like, I need a drink.
Yeah. How come no one offered Trouble a beer?
She's
How old is Trouble?
21.
Is she?
Is she or is she 20?
More importantly, this situation called, regardless,
Well,
she could be 12. This situation calls
She's
for
still
beer.
sort of our guard.
And also, yeah, I was going to say, they want her to be sober because the whole reason they were like, oh, you can stay the night. I mean, it's because they're kind of afraid.
Yeah. All right.
They do need her on top of her game just in case.
Oh,
Well, they could be like a Legend of the Drunken Master. Mm-hmm. Maybe she could be like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Drunk Trouble would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
But so then they're going through the whole thing after Juliet gets into a lot of pain, and then it's solved when she transforms back. But do you think that that's important? My first thought when she started to have abdominal pain right after sex, I'm like,
Some kind of weird
pregnancy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, that's not how it works.
No, but she.
We're dealing with a lot of magic.
There's a lot of magic going on. She just took.
Just
she
so
took
everyone-
3 hits of a witch hat bong. Okay. Who knows
That
what's
could
happening?
speed up. She could have super eggs in there. You don't know.
Just so everyone knows, biologically, that's not how it works.
I know.
Super witch eggs and Grimm sperm. This.
Also,
is a weird
That's
show.
true.
she was technically Adeline at the time. Does that mean that she was technically a hexen beast for those
Ooh.
couple hours?
Yeah, and she's just like a human. Like what kind of effects is this having on her body? Because her body handle it the same way like a hexen beast takes a
all good.
like a
down.
potion.
We're all good. We're all
Yeah.
good. I'm like knocking stuff over.
Calm down, Zach. All right. No, yeah, that thought did definitely cross my mind.
So I guess my thought, it's just that the having the stomach pain, I feel like it's more than just letting her be in pain before
Yeah.
she transforms back, because that's it's pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, Adeline wasn't pain-free when she transformed. It was uncomfortable.
Was she not?
I thought she was uncomfortable and dealt with pain of some sort.
I'd have to go back. I can't remember.
I don't remember it being a smooth transition.
I don't remember her being in severe pain.
Yeah,
though.
she smooth transitioned from the cab ride. Remember, she got in the cab as Juliet, and when she was getting out of the cab, she was Adeline.
You're right.
And the cab driver was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I think he would have noticed if she was screaming and yelling.
You're right. All right. My bad. I apologize.
So I do think that this will have ramifications. What if they have a baby that is technically Juliet's, like, and Nick's, because she gives birth to it. But it's Adeline's DNA because she was technically Adeline at the moment of conception.
Man.
So as though Juliet is the surrogate.
Yes.
So a blonde baby comes out.
Yes. And a Hexen Grimm.
Oh my God.
Or a Zalber Grimm.
Yeah.
You don't know.
A Zalber Grimm. Yeah, if it's a male.
Oh my God, you guys. This could be insanity.
I feel like we're predicting again.
We're going nuts. I'm sorry.
What is happening?
We're going. The level of predictions and insanity of my predictions has reached a new low today.
9/11 times 1,000.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Anyway, so on that note, what do you guys think of, like, the way he got his powers back eventually? Like, we see him, like, he sees, like, just a random guy walking through who, like, I guess is beating his wife.
Yeah.
But, like, he sees him just, like, vogue a little bit.
Yeah, he just saw like something with his mouth, right? And it looked like he just barely
My
saw
other thing
it.
was, like, Nick was, like, not sure. I'm like, you know what you saw.
Yeah.
Like, you know what that is.
well-
you know that has to be, like, it creeping back.
Well, maybe because he knows that is a possibility, that he thought he saw it because he wanted to see
I was
it.
thinking the same thing. Like,
Okay.
he wants it so bad that maybe he's thinking he
Yeah.
sees it, but not really.
I love when Monroe is like, okay, let's test it. And he's like, I don't see anything. Monroe's like, yeah, no, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But I also really think the gradual return, the hearing, and then does he have his zombie Grimm powers?
I think he came back full. Yeah.
Because he like turned ghostly before.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I think so. I think he went through all of his stages of and he did have super grim hearing.
Yeah. When he
Yeah.
became a zombie. Post-zombie.
Post-zombie was when he had, like, super hearing
Right.
and all that stuff.
And he was stronger.
Yeah, and in this episode, we saw, like, when they're digging,
He hears it.
he heard the clink of the shovel
Right.
on the little statue and all that stuff.
So the hearing came back first, you think?
Well, he had already started to see, remember?
Right, but
He
the
started
hearing
to-
like was
But he only heard it for like a second.
I'm saying that I think he does have his post-zombie levels of power, because we saw that, like, blink and you'll miss it. We saw that pale shade of zombie-ness on his face.
Yeah.
As he was, like, going through the transformation. So I think effectively he had to go through all the transformations from human to Grimm to zombie Grimm to
Super Zombie Grimm.
to Super Saiyan Grimm.
Yeah, Super Saiyan.
Level 1.
Yeah, just level 1. Kaioken times 20.
But I love Monroe's bit when they're, like, in there. He's like, "That's so awesome!"
Yeah.
yeah.
He was very excited. But that was at the conclusion of the big story, and let's talk about the Vesson of the Week.
Yeah.
Or wow. Or Vesson of the Week.
Our wow.
It was a Fansinger.
Okay.
Fansinger, I think. It's another subspecies.
Yeah.
Or like cousin
Right.
species, basically, of the Scallengek, which is like a lizard, snake-like Vesson. And the Fansinger is more of a Komodo dragon. They're from India. I love that we're, like, sort of spreading out across the globe more.
Yeah.
Getting more into, like, the different niches of the world. I can't wait till we, like, go to Australia.
Kangaroo Vesson. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's gonna be amazing. Koala Vesson.
I'm just thinking, like, the amount of, like, in Australia, like, the Maori tribes and, like, all of the religion around there.
They probably have some cool
We'll
stories.
probably get a rainbow serpent. If anyone,
Whoa.
wild predictions.
You're going off on the rainbow serpent.
in
This is gonna be awesome.
what's the word? Not Maori.
Aztec.
No, not Aztec. The other Australian tribe.
Steve Irwin.
No. Either way, the Aboriginals.
Yes.
Just the Aboriginals. They their religion speaks of a rainbow serpent in the sky, and that's like what brought them intelligence and all that stuff. And we could go off on a whole other track if I
Watch
start
the
talking about
movie.
that. I don't know what movie you're talking about, but
What? You've never seen that movie?
no.
Okay.
Anyway, we're staying here. We could have a rainbow like Scallengek type creature.
Yeah.
That would be like the basis for their religion.
Interesting.
That would
Could be
cool.
really fun, really interesting. Anyway, I love this new Vesson.
I want to see a Yeti
and the
Vesson.
crazy cultures that grow up around it. Like, when you have to go into Indian mythology, there's many gods and many ways to pray to those many gods. So I think it's great that we got them having to make human sacrifices to a god that this particular Vesson worships. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Did anybody else catch them at chanting out like Kali Ma?
Yes.
Like multiple times.
Yes.
I'm like, all right, who's the Indiana Jones fan on the writing staff? We know there's a stoner. Might be the same guy as the Indiana Jones fan. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Kali Ma.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones.
No. But yeah, so we start out with this. What did you guys think just of the whole bit with like going back into Nick's early career, like old detective stuff that he couldn't do when he wasn't a Grimm?
Oh yeah, because they were backtracking. They were like, "You've had this case before, or found a case like this," but he was like, "Yeah, but I didn't know what to do because he was a Grimm." That was pretty neat. So he should look at a lot of his old cases that he couldn't solve.
Any cold cases that might be sitting on
That's
the shelf.
what, yeah, that'd be a good idea for Trouble. She could go to school, get her law degree, and then go work on cold case as a Grimm.
In Hawaii.
Grimm, cold case.
Trouble in Paradise. I think it's really good that they're showing us this. I also really like that we're being able to answer that, yes, he did work on cases before he was a Grimm. And yes, they weren't always... I mean, they were Vesson, but like he didn't know that, so he did what he could, and like he was a legitimate detective, and that anyone who didn't know would have never been able to figure it out, which is why it's still cold.
Yes,
and it answered all of our questions, which makes me think the writing staff watches this show.
Yeah, and it's great. I just like the parallel of he could not solve this crime when he was pre-Grimm.
Right
now, without his Grimm powers. But knowing it all, he realizes how much he needs his Grimm side because he needs to solve this case. He needs not just his knowledge, but his abilities because he has to stop these people. We get introduced to a new character who they name, so I don't think she's going away. Deputy Sheriff Ferris.
I feel like she'll be back once or twice. I don't know if
I thought the same thing. She seemed a little more important than just a one-time thing because seemed like she was hitting on Hank.
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, oh, I'm gonna ship her and Hank hard.
Yeah.
Go forward.
Yeah, they were like, she was like flirting with,
shippers.
and then every time he tried to help her, she's like, I can do that myself, and you're like, oh, all right.
They played her up very strong, and now she must have seen.
No, she was unconscious-ish. Most of
Didn't
the
they
time.
wake her up when they jumped in the hole?
Yeah.
Yes,
That
but
made it
she
creepy.
kind of passed out again. I mean, by the time Nick saves them, she's like,
Yeah, but they like straight up attacked her in the middle of it and wrapped a tongue around her neck.
But
had to see
she
something.
was facing away.
like all the other victims.
They'll
I
just
was
tell
up-
her she's crazy.
Yeah, I was
Send her to a mental
unconscious.
It was a
institution.
mask, blah, blah, blah.
Head wound,
Yeah.
brain injury.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going away, though.
I don't think she's sticking around longer than 3 episodes. Yeah.
You don't think?
No. No.
Hank's girlfriend?
Here's why. Because when they brought in Sharon Leal last season to be Hank's love interest, it was really hyped up. And she was only there for 2 episodes.
Remember that character?
I was
Yeah.
so upset. So this one, who no one's hyped up, no offense to this actress, no one's hyped up. I don't see her staying for more than a few episodes.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
I do think that there is more in store for her just because of the fact that she got a name.
Yeah.
She wasn't just extra cop. They didn't need her to be there.
Maybe she talks to Wu, and Wu's like, I've seen some crazy stuff too. And then her and Wu team up together. We're going crazy with predictions today. This is awesome.
Maybe she has a notebook that they can use.
Yep.
Oh God. I would love that.
Yeah.
If Wu got some somebody that would like help him.
Yeah.
That like is willing to like go down the rabbit hole with him.
I ship her and Woo.
There you go.
So hard.
They didn't get any screen time together, but that doesn't mean that they won't.
Yeah, that means
I like it. I like it.
Thanks.
Oh, and was I the only one that, like, when those tow guys, like, pulled up at the beginning, I'm like, it's them in the back.
Right? Why was it that we were all like, nope, that's it. It's them.
It's those guys.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to drop them, like, coming back to the crime scene so you could, like, they wanted you to do that, I think.
All right.
To a certain extent. Like, it wasn't like we piece it together, but we're also privy to, like, what happened.
Right.
There was a big truck.
Yeah.
And stuff, and then there's a big truck that they drive up in.
It felt very Jeepers Creepers to me with the truck following them. Anybody seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in a lot of films,
Right.
not just Jeepers.
But that I don't like scary movies, so that's the only one I've really seen. So I was like, I'm now terrified of giant trucks behind me. And in my car,
As you should
everything
be.
is a giant truck.
Yeah.
Because I have a little car.
You do have a little car.
I mean, that's the basic, like,
Yeah.
thing with the Fonsinger storyline. They find the little statues, little totems that they bury. It's all part of a ritual, a religious ritual.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that angle on it. What I do want to talk about, like, the last bit of this whole storyline
Yes.
to bring up, I love when they go and they're researching, and then they get to the end, and they drop that Rudyard Kipling was a Grimm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was so cool. He wrote the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, the guy who wrote the Jungle Book was a Grimm? Oh, it looks like it.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
It fits.
And then I started thinking about the Jungle Book, and I was like, oh, the talking animals?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that makes total sense.
This brings a whole new meaning to the Jungle Book, you guys.
I feel like, and I hope they go this way. All the like authors of, talking animal.
Dr. Seuss was a Grimm.
I would believe that in a heartbeat. I was thinking Alice in Wonderland.
That's where the Cat in the Hat comes from, man.
Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
Peter Rabbit.
All of them.
Yes, they were all Grimms.
Grims.
That's what Grimms
man.
do when they retire. They become children's storybook authors
Yeah.
and artists.
Yep.
I mean, Brothers Grimm, right from
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
It just got a little bit more
so
kid-friendly
meta.
over the years.
It's so meta.
I love it.
Oh, that is actually a great. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but you're right. It totally works.
Yeah.
Mother Goose was just a Grimm. Mother Goose actually had a machete and was out there like chopping all these animals
I
up.
believe it.
Yeah. So was Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
He killed the Cat in the Hat.
Whoa. Maybe.
Yeah.
On that note, let's take a quick break, you guys. Talk about iTunes. We're about halfway through the show, maybe a little more. But thank you guys so much for joining us this week. It's a real pleasure to do this, and it's a real pleasure to have you guys listen. It's a blast. And the best way that you can help us do this podcast is to go onto iTunes and help us out with it. Give us a review. Let us know what you're thinking. What do you like about the show? What do you hate about the show? What do you want to hear more about? Do you want to hear more about Yael and talking about Meisner and all the different sexy times on the show? I think
do.
you do. I think
she
you do.
does.
And we're going to get some more of it in a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
But we want to know what you want more of, because that helps us make this the best Grimm show that it can be, and it also helps us get fantastic guests like we've had this season, and we're still working on more, and those reviews really do help make the difference. They also help get the network, all of AfterBuzz TV, get sponsors, and those sponsors help keep the lights on here. It all makes a difference. I unfortunately didn't have time to pull out the reviews because I was on a plane until about an hour before this podcast.
Also, it was Thanksgiving. Calm down.
Yes, but we will. Anyone who has written a review this week or next week, we will absolutely give you a shout out next week on the podcast. All right, let's jump into all of the little B stories that we have going on in this episode, because there's a ton of them.
15 of them?
Yeah, there's a ton. Well, 4, but
Right. Same thing.
let's start out in Vienna.
Okay.
Okay.
The first thing we hear as is Victor's assistant guy. I forget his name because he's sort of meaningless. But he's just like, you're certain it, like he's like, I don't know if there's anything to go on here, but Victor's like, you're certain it's Meisner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't get all excited at the sound of his name because we didn't see him.
Lies.
I don't believe it.
Lies.
First thing I heard Meisner, and I went, oh my God, where's Yael? She's like freaking out
It's
right
in
now.
my notes. Yael is freaking out right now.
If we'd seen him, I'd be freaking out. Yes, I cracked a smile. and it looked like this. But until we see him, I will not be satisfied. The fact that Victor is all up on him terrifies me, that the writers are going to kill him off just to anger me.
Where is he? Meisner's dead.
Right? Like, I have a really terrible feeling that before we get to even see him again, it will be announced that they found him and killed him, and we won't see him again.
And you'll cry
I'm
yourself to
sad.
sleep.
Yes.
I don't think so. I mean, I would say that he is definitely in danger. But I don't think we're gonna lose him without seeing him one more time. Unless it's like an actor availability problem.
Right.
They're going to show him being killed.
I think
sad.
that at the very bare minimum, that's what we're going to get. But it also, I think they wouldn't do that without putting Adeline right in front of him.
I was going to say, Adeline, this episode, basically turns on everyone, reveals all the secrets to Victor. Oh, that backstabber. And the truth is, like, if we don't get to see her confronting Meisner, or Meisner confronting her, really, about her being a traitor, about how they saved her life and her baby, I think it's going to be really disappointing. And I would like to see that tension, especially because they're so cute together.
Oh, yeah, you were shipping them pretty hard.
I wasn't the only one.
I think
Adeleisner.
everyone was shipping them because they did have a great
chemistry.
and the inevitable and scary place that that can go is with Adeline now on the side of the royals wanting to get her baby back. Meisner is going to get in the way. I mean, the resistance wants to stop them from getting the child.
Unless they use Adeline as like a trick. They send her in pretending that she is working against the royals, so she gets Meisner to bring her to the resistance, and they follow Adeline and bring...
Well, the first time we hear about
something
Meisner,
like
before we even meet him, the first time we hear about him, it's said that he's available to the highest bidder. Like, he's not loyal to anyone.
Oh, he's just a mercenary.
Is he not? Oh, I sort of, as
thought
we
he
got
worked
to
for the
know him better, thought that he was pretty much on board with the resistance.
I think he may have become on board with the resistance, but to begin with, he was just,
a merc.
Yeah. So I would like to see, if my opinion matters, writers, I would like to see him get hired to be her protector.
Interesting.
Regardless of if she's with the royals or the resistance. I want him to be her protector.
Or he could just swap sides to be with Adeline.
Yeah.
Maybe he's that in love with her that he's like,
Who said
whatever,
anything about love?
By
guys?
resistance. He wants her that bad. Whatever you want to
I
call
just
it,
want to
Yael.
clarify. No one said anything about love.
He wants that Hexen beast so bad.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I guess maybe that's for the best that he's a Kerslite Schlushkinen. Because he can't see her transform
into a scary creature.
That'd be weird. That'd be a scary thing.
Maybe
to
he's
happen.
into that.
Maybe he's into that. You don't know him. Don't judge.
No judgments. I'm just saying, might be easy.
But
Anyway.
Adeline basically reveals everything to the royals, and then Victor puts it all together.
Yeah, well, he has the advantage of being outside the situation. So when he is like, oh, there's this person. Oh, it's Nick's mother. Oh, but we were dealing with this thing with the resistance, but it wouldn't. But if this thing that you didn't know about, but you did know that, like, they didn't know that you were going to Portland, that was a midway decision.
Yeah.
So clearly, that wasn't the resistance. And then instantly, he's like, Kelly's got the baby. I got it. All right. Somebody get a plane. We got to go find Kelly Burkhart.
Right.
Here's the question, though. Now that they know who has the baby, can the royals find them? Because nobody knows where she is. There's no way. You can't torture Nick, torture Renard. There's nobody to torture to find her. She's on her own. Is there a magic spell? Because we know that there are like location spells like with blood and maps and stuff. Could they do that? Are they in danger of getting
I feel
caught?
like maybe Adeline could do something like that because it's her baby, but she already is looking around so much that maybe she doesn't know the spell, or maybe she doesn't know how she could do that.
Or maybe she had to know who it was that had the baby and then use that person's DNA.
Maybe she can't track the baby, but she can track Kelly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So like maybe she has to now go get Nick because they're so tied together now that maybe she will need his blood as part of like the whole thing to track his mother.
Right.
Who knows?
Which means that our original prediction of Mama Renard versus Kelly is out the window, but Mama Renard versus Adeline over the baby.
Mama Renard versus Adeline versus Kelly.
Or
It's a 3-way
Mama
show.
Renard and Kelly
Versus Adeline.
the Royals and Adeline.
Interesting.
This
Well,
is like an epic.
Kelly
like-
already killed Adeline's mom. I think she could kill Adeline too.
But if you have the whole of the Royals
That's true.
behind her, who knows what they have.
And all of their Hoonjägers.
And Meisner, her protector.
Yeah, he's not going to help her. They're gonna kill him.
Shut up.
there's any number of possibilities.
Yeah.
I think that there's tons of stuff open. And sort of transitioning us over because I want to talk about Trouble, and so she's sort of being stalked.
Yeah.
But it's a guy. I didn't have a chance to remember. I can't remember what type of Vesson he is. The leopard guy, who we know the Royals have used in the past,
And they're pretty mean because remember,
they're bad.
Nick cut
asses.
one's head off and sent
Yeah.
it back to him, and they were like, "What? He killed one of those?"
I mean, when Monroe found out that that's what they were up against, he was frightened. Like that
Right.
was one of the most powerful Vesson.
Isn't that one of the first times we met Kelly? Was with the...
Yes, it was, and
Yeah.
it took 2 Grimms. Now, granted, that was pre-Super Nick Zombie Grimm,
Yeah.
but it took 2 of them to take him
Right.
down.
I thought he would the man watching Trouble was working with the FBI team.
Well, that's what Trouble thinks.
That's what she thinks too. Yeah.
And so she assumes that because she knows that those people are watching her. I think it's that he's working, and that's what I think you're supposed to think at this point.
Right.
My thought was that that's actually the Royals.
Right, and because we've seen that type of Vesson before.
Yeah,
And-
we know that type of Vesson works with the Royals, and that's why I thought that reveal was.
Okay.
It could be either one. We don't really have enough to go on, and it would make sense why he even pretending he still seemed a little bit confused.
Yeah, because she was like, "You tell what's her name that she can't follow me," and he kind of looked like, "What is she talking about?"
Like it wasn't. I think a lot of times at that point, the operatives are like, "We will always be watching you."
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right, you're right. My bad.
It could still turn out to be the FBI people.
Yeah.
We still don't know who they are. For all we know, they're an offshoot of the Royals somehow.
Yeah.
It's very Trouble's lucky because those Vesson are pretty mean, and she slashed both of his tires, and he got mad, and that's when he vogued, but woo, she got lucky because we saw when Nick was first at Grimm, it took 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how nice, very nice badass was it when she slashes his tires and is like bye and gets on her bike and rides away. Which then she finds, as she comes back, she finds Josh at the door, who we are clearly billing to. He's been on the run. He was attacked very much by the Royals because they were Hoonjagers. They were almost definitely the Virat.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get him because they know that he had a key because his dad was a Grimm, but he's not a Grimm.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly encapsulated when they charge back in at the end, and it's just like
He has a machete.
he has a machete. Do you know how to use that? No. What do you guys think Josh is doing there?
I mean, I think he needs help. He needs protection. He has no idea what's happening, and I'm really excited that he's back.
I feel like this is the beginning of them sending him off with Trouble to go hide off, and this is the beginning of the end of Trouble.
No.
I mean, just look at the way it's going.
I know.
Nick can't leave. Trouble is kind of a free wandering spirit, and this guy needs someone to go with him and get him to safety. And I feel like this is.
I think she's no longer a free wandering spirit. Look at those hugs that she gave out. She
I'm
was,
telling
like,
you, they're going to send
sad.
Trouble off on a
that's-
mission with
but
Josh.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, she's reached an emotional, the end of an emotional arc
Yeah.
where she cares about people. She doesn't want to leave, and
Right.
that's going to be the biggest reason why she will leave.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to, and that's the most dramatic place for the character to
Right,
go.
and they have to give Josh someone to protect him.
And that being said, I don't want to see Trouble go.
I don't want to see Trouble go either, but I can feel it.
So continue, as we keep saying on the show, to tweet at NBC at NBC Grimm at NBC with
At the
hashtag
writers.
at the writers, hashtag Trouble.
Hashtag keep Trouble.
Yeah. We want to keep her around as much fun because it's fun, and I like having more than one Grimm.
Yes.
It makes the show more interesting
It
when
does.
there's more than one Grimm around.
Yeah.
So really quick, last things, and then let's talk the Renards. Really quick scene with Mama Renard. I like that they established that they can't do the snake thing again. That's a one-time deal for both of them.
Yeah.
It can never happen again. Thank God. Because anything that saves a character's life is in such danger of making a show boring.
Yeah.
It's the magic blood that you've seen on so many different programs.
Yeah.
In movies. So thankfully we didn't have to deal with that. But they drop the hat. Is very, very important.
Yes.
It is the original transept, and it is from the Malheurs Malatricum.
Sure.
All right.
We're trying here.
I'm not judging.
The Hammer of the Witches. A brutal time for Hex and Beast kind.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Renard's whole situation? Like what the hat may be used for? Apparently it's going to be a very useful tool for
Well, she
Renard.
asked, like, how do you think Adeline got it? Well, from her mom, of course. Well, where did she get it? Well, maybe it's just been passed down. Maybe Adeline's family is, like, descendants of the original witches or the super Hexen Beasts or whatever they were. And maybe that's why Adeline is so good at figuring all this stuff out and doing all these spells, and her mom was really good.
And that past may end up being very important to
Right.
what's going forward. Who she's a descendant from, who Nick's a descendant from,
Right.
who Renard's a descendant from, all could come together and be very, very important.
Right.
We know with the royals, just who your parentage is very, very crucial.
Right.
So I think that's going to do it as we
next
wrap
week,
up here.
Christmas episode.
Is next? I didn't see the next one.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas
Christmas episode.
And there's like these little like gnome goblin guys, and they look awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
so
gonna be
sad
fun.
because I will not be here with you guys next weekend.
Oh no.
But I wanted to talk about the Christmas episode.
Well,
oh well.
You'll
You guys
send
will
us
have
your
fun without
statement.
me.
We can read it off.
Yeah, I'll send you. I can send something in so you guys can. See.
But so that's going to do it for the Grimm episode 406 after show here at AfterBuzz TV, Highway of Tears. Guys, Yael Tygiel, where can the people keep up with you throughout
You
the
can
week?
keep up with me throughout the week at Yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find all the shows I do here at AfterBuzz, including Constantine, Law & Order SVU, many more. Also Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL.
And you can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance. And I'll miss you guys next week. See you whenever the next episode is after that.
And you guys catch me on Twitter at that Zach Wilson, THATZACHWILSON. Lots of other shows here at AfterBuzz. I've got Resurrection coming up later tonight, Z Nation, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sleepy Hollow. In the fall, we've got Helix coming back. Super excited.
Spring.
In
the spring.
whatever. January. It's coming up. All right, guys. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.